let's go ahead and just kind of dive right into it. Today's topic is mental health. Um, and I think that I'm a good person to talk about this a little bit. I'm not like the spokesperson, but I've already blogged about this. I'll link that below this video on the create along. But um, I suffer from PMDD, which is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. It was really just being discovered around the time it hit me. So thank goodness for that, because otherwise, they wouldn't have known what to do to take care of me. So I was very fortunate in that when the time came that this particular disorder, which they believe is genetic and we believe runs in my family, when they discovered it, and we only believe because unfortunately the individuals that we believe had it did not survive very far into adulthood. So they're no longer with us. We can't test them or check or get them help. Um, but um, the positive is that it came forth in me, and usually a very stressful situation is what sort of springs it forth. When it came forth in me, we were we knew what to do. The medical community as a whole had recognized that this was an actual thing, and it wasn't just women being oversensitive or whatever, or hysteria 100 years ago. Um, so I get help. I get medicine that takes care of that. And it keeps me from going into these very horrible cycles that I go into when I am in the midst of not being medicated, which mostly involve, it starts with levels of just feeling inadequate and unlikable, which probably actually ties all the way back to my bullying as a child. I was bullied a lot and was ostracized to some degree. And so I think that that has an effect on when I'm feeling less than great. It it definitely my first thought is, why would anybody want to be my friend? Does anybody really want to be my friend? Do they just pretend so they don't hurt my feelings? You know? So I start that cycle, and then it devolves down into full-blown panic attacks, and makes it really hard for me to function in a regular way. And that's the big thing, is that um, if an illness is making it impossible for you to function, if it's preventing you from not only doing your job, which is an important job because you're probably here because you're a teacher like I am. So you're here because you care about kids, and you're here because you care about um, education and the promotion of knowledge. And if something about your mental health is preventing you from doing that, you should treat it. But also, it was interfering with my family. I would sort of go off and hide and have crying fits so that they wouldn't know I was doing it. Um, yeah, it got really bad, and it gets really bad if I get off. I'm on hormonal stuff to keep my hormones balanced. So, the positive is, though, I'm generally on it. The negative is, like so many other people out there that suffer from much worse mental illnesses than I do, things get busy, life gets crazy, and every so often, if I forget to order my medicine, then I get off it. It's just a little bit. And that happened this last semester, which happened to already be kind of a stressful semester. I was sick, and I'm never sick, so I missed days for that, and it was actually like it was something that kind of went into a full-blown long-term illness in some ways, not like that sounds scary. Um, it lasted longer. I only missed a couple of days of work, but I was sick for a much longer period of time. So even though I went to work, I would like come home and just sort of collapse. So I wasn't getting as much work done as I normally do. I felt like I wasn't sending myself off to like help the leadership positions I should be helping, and I wasn't doing everything I should be doing all the time. And so I felt like I wasn't a great contributor to everything that I should be contributing to. So all of that was already kind of weighing on me. And then because I was so busy and because I was so overwhelmed, um, I forgot to get my prescription filled. And I kept going, oh, I'll take care of that. And that went on and on and on. And I was off my prescription for only about 3 weeks, but that was enough time to really break me down. And I went into a horrible depression, because this stuff is not PMDD is not only, um, based around, the menstrual cycle, it's premenstrual dysphoric disorder, but it also reacts very strongly to stress, and I was very stressed out because I had all this stuff weighing on me, and I'd been sick, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and I kept getting sick because I'm on a different medicine that apparently makes my allergies, like, I they just never shut down, and so I would try to get off, like, daily allergy medicine and be like, "I'll be fine now. We're past that time," and then I would get sick again. So, really sickly semester for me. So, like, then I'm getting less done that weekend too. So, point is, not taking great care of myself, health-wise or mental health-wise, and all of that just sort of, like, amped it up, and it was really horrific. Um, it's interesting because I experience it when I'm not in the middle of it, I experience it on a very intellectual level, like, I'm like, "Oh, yes, I remember that that was really bad." But when I'm in the middle of it, it's bad, and I know it's bad, and luckily, I have a really great husband who supports me through those things when they hit. And if you don't have a great support system, it feels like you're all alone in the middle of that. You're not. We're here, we're out here dealing with these things too. And if you're a teacher, you have a stressful job, and everybody seems to think that everything is your fault. And the media, social media, and the large media is not really helping with that. But just know you're appreciated. And there are other people who are dealing with these things, and I try to be open about it because as vulnerable as that makes me in many ways, although it's much easier when I'm recording it and not doing it live in front of people, because I've done this for my students too. Um, and that's like shaking vulnerable. But as vulnerable as it makes me to share this with you guys, I'm also hoping that maybe it's reaching somebody else who goes through things and doesn't think that anybody else does, or that their stuff is just so petty or little or not important. You have to take care of yourself, and you have to do what it takes to live your best life. And if you need medicine, take it. I mean, really. Um, I have a mental illness. I have a lack of balance in my hormones, and it makes me nuts. It makes me like unable to function. It's a better phrasing. It makes me unable to function as a mother, as a wife, as a teacher. And I think it's important to say that out loud and to let you guys know that that's okay. And we're out here, and you have support, and I'll support you. And other people are out there that will support you as well. And you'd be surprised how many people want you to be well and don't care about anything else. Um, it was hard for me to admit that I had anything that made me less than, like, I wanted to be like Mary Poppins, practically perfect in every way. But I'm human, and we all are. And a dear friend sort of woke me up to that when I was talking to her about that. So know that we're out here, and take care of yourself. And I did a poor job of that, but I'm working on being better this coming year. So that's the main message is you're not alone. And if you slip up, it's okay. Go take care of it and start over because you can always start over.